What's going on, everybody? We are live here on the Domain YouTube channel. Welcome, everybody. Let me put my camera back a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better. Tilt this up a little bit more. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of The Next Level. And we're doing this a little differently tonight. We're doing a little bit of a live stream. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever, thanks for listening, by the way. This is a live show, so it's going to be a little bit different than what you might be expecting, especially if you're listening to this after it's already happened. So anyway, I've got YouTube up over here on my left, and let me pause my live, and I can see the chat. So if you want to chat and you're here, please do so. I'm just waiting for Josh and Bryce to get in here. Josh, are you still here? I don't know if he's still here or not. Well, I guess we'll find out. I guess they had a few kinks to work out. So, but tonight we're gonna talk about. Oh, there we go. Let me let Bryce in here, and Bryce is gonna be joining us right now. I don't know what's going on with Josh. I don't want to report him. I don't want to report him. What's going on, Bryce?
Yo, is this thing on?
Yeah, we're live, buddy.
Sweet.
What's going on, man? We're live on YouTube right now.
Nice.
We got Bryce here. What's going on, man? You doing okay?
What's happening, y'all? Yep.
That's
Feeling
good. That's good. Let me turn. There we go. That way I can hear you better. So we're live on YouTube, and let me make sure they can see us both. Can they see us both? I think they can see us both. Yeah, they can see us both. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. All right. So we're doing something a little different tonight, guys. This is going to be an audio version. So for those of you listening right now, you missed out on hanging out with us live. This was something I kind of decided to do. I thought we'd try it and see how it goes. However, if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and what have you, we appreciate you being here. I think Josh just got back in here. Josh, you here now too? Maybe? Is he in here? I think he's in here. Let me Yo, Josh. Maybe he's in here. I don't know if he is having microphone issues or not, but let me know what's going on in our chat on Messenger. All right. Okay. So tonight we're here to talk about Best Buy announced that they are apparently going to be getting rid of physical media starting in the first quarter of 2024. So that's going to be early next year. And, we have had conversations in the past. I know Josh and I have had conversations in the past. Josh, are you still here with us? We cannot hear you if you're in here. But we have had conversations in the past. Bryce and I have not talked about this yet, so I'm really interested to hear what Bryce has to say about this. But there was a big rumor going around that we are going to be seeing the. Oh, hello. I think you're cutting out there again, Josh. I think Josh is having some network issues over there on his end. But anyway, we Best Buy reported that they're obviously going to be ending, or there's rumored to be ending. They have not said this themselves, by the way. I made that very clear. They have not came out, as far as I've seen lately, and said themselves that they are going to be ending physical media. It was reported that they were going to be just ending like movies, like Blu-ray, Ultra HD, DVDs, basically just movies. But some people are saying they're going to be getting rid of physical media entirely. Whether that be video games, and I doubt they're going to get rid of vinyl. They just started selling vinyl like a few years ago. And now I just got a report.
That would die really hard.
Oh yeah, your microphone is really bad, bud. But but we got not only Best Buy saying this, but Walmart. It was reported by comicbook.com yesterday. I'm looking at this right now in front of me. That Walmart is also planning on getting rid of physical media, but they're planning on getting rid of just video games in 2024 as well. It doesn't really specify when they're going to be getting rid of video games, but that is really merely just a rumor at this point. So I don't know. No one has confirmed. None of these big companies have confirmed that they are for sure doing this. So I thought this would be a great spark of discussion tonight for all of us here. And of course, if you're in the chat with us too, I can read the chat. I have it over here off to my left, would be your right when looking at the screen, and I can see chat. So let us know in the chat. I'll read from time to time. We'll read some of these comments and we'll interact with you there. We're probably going to stream for about an hour or so and get into this. So I got to ask you, Bryce.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this stuff, man? How do you feel about these companies? How would it make you feel if you walked into, say, a Best Buy and they had no more physical media, like, at all?
I mean, it's unfortunate, but it kind of makes sense, honestly, just the way things have been going the last 10 years or so. With everything just being streamable between YouTube or, whatever music service you use, Netflix, everything is just streamed to you now over the internet. Well, the majority of it. There is still a small group of people that like to hang on to the physical copies of things and have that physical thing in their hand that they add to their collection or look at the artwork. People, humans are just that way naturally. Like, we want things that we can touch and hold on to, that spark memories down, rather than just seeing the track title on the screen. It's not the same as like holding it in your hand and reading the back of it and reading the copyright and all the little details of it. But it makes sense, honestly, just based off of how things have been going. But I don't like it, honestly. It is very convenient as a consumer to consume digital media a lot faster than, or wider variety of things. It does enable you to experience a lot of things that might not get manufactured physically because of budgeting issues. So it does enable us to see a lot more kind of artwork and stuff and have access to a lot of broader of a spectrum of what humans are creating. But yeah, the physical, I'm always going to be a physical guy. Like, the digital just seems so easy to just go into the vapor. You know what I mean? Like, it's just gone all of a sudden, because if your digital store goes out of business or you get your account hacked or banned, you lose all your digital content that you've added to that library.
True.
That you spent a lot of money on. It's probably almost as bad as like, losing your stuff in a flood or something. If you had like physical stuff, like,
sure,
it's all gone. It's there's nothing you can do about it.
Right. I can agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think that physical media, rather digital media is easier to consume. I will say, for me, there's no denying that, like, times are changing, right? Like, we're in a change now where we had Microsoft. I had made a video and put out on here. Microsoft had some documents leak from the FTC versus Activision case,
right?
Which is funny because they just closed that deal the other day, finally, after like 20 some months. There's Josh. What's going on, Josh? But after,
I'm here as long as my phone will let me, but I'm here.
okay, cool. But after 20 months of that court case going on, which is crazy to think it was that long, almost 2 whole years.
Yeah.
They have been trying to get that deal to go through. Now we're at a spot where, those documents got leaked. I did a video here on YouTube about it. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. We went through those documents, the pages, and there's a big rumor about Microsoft's going to be coming out with a I would say a mid-tier refresh of their own, much like how Sony just had their, they came out with a mid-tier refresh. But the big difference with these new Xbox consoles, not new, but they're not going to have any disk drive anymore. Yeah. So I'm curious now that we're having rumors of like Walmart getting rid of physical media, which was last night reported. I didn't even find out about until we just started. And then the big one was Best Buy discontinuing physical media. Who's to say that Microsoft doesn't kind of know the forecast? It's kind of like being a weatherman. Yeah. You want to be able to, as much as I would like to say, as much as I'm imagining that from a business standpoint, Microsoft has the forecast in front of them, right? So like, okay, so we've talked with Walmart. Here's what they're going to do. We've talked with, Best Buy. Here's where they're headed. So doesn't it make sense for in that same realm of entertainment, if you will, why would we include something that you probably aren't even going to need? Because you have to understand, businesses are all about this, right?
Yeah.
Whether it means making more of this or preventing themselves from losing more of this. So what they want to do is they want to say, all right, I think if Best Buy does do this, I used to work at Blockbuster. So be a little disheartening to go into a big box retailer chain such as Best Buy and not see movies, DVDs, Blu-rays, or hell, even video games not exist in these spaces anymore physically. It would be a little disheartening to see that. Because I am a physical person in the sense of that's who we are, right? We have to hold things. We like to be tangible with stuff, right? Granted, the tangible is really more the experience we get with these things because they are, at the end of the day, something we watch on the screen. It's not like we are driving a car. It's something that we are actually tangible and experiencing all the time. The tangible is really the game, right? The game itself, holding the game and having a disc and doing all that. And I can see from a business standpoint, because I try to be a very business-minded person, and I see where this goes. If you're Best Buy and you're already competing with Amazon, which everybody thought Best Buy was going to go out of business 4 or 5 years ago because of Amazon's rise, right? As did a lot of places when Amazon kept getting more and more popular. People were like, oh man, we're not going to have
all the bookstores are gone now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like we're not even going to have
or even Borders
retail stores. So. And then everybody thought Best Buy was going to go out of business then. Well, Best Buy is still around. So I think what you have to do as a retailer, and as any retailer would do, especially when you're a retailer that doesn't just sell physical media. If you were a retailer that's just selling physical media, you probably don't want to get rid of your only thing, right? Because that's what you're doing. Right. However, Best Buy is a consumer electronics store. They don't just sell physical movies. Or physical media. They sell appliances like refrigerators, washers and dryers, microwaves, obviously big screen TVs, big TVs in general, computers, phones. I mean, they're not like gonna miss out on anything else by not selling that. Not only that, but I would imagine, because I think it's kind of safe to say we can all kind of agree that physical media has been on a decline anyway. Because of the rise of things like Game Pass and Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus, and you have a subscription service for pretty much everything now that is movies and TV, Kindles. I mean, we can talk about books in this conversation too, because it's the same thing applies.
Yeah,
you have a Kindle. You can pretty much do just about anything on this. You can read a book. You can play a video game. You can't play like big video games, but you can watch TV on these. You can do all that stuff. So,
I mean, Xbox Cloud.
You can do cloud gaming.
Yeah, I
See?
mean, you really
And
can.
so,
like,
I mean,
just
it's
connect your controller through the Bluetooth and
yeah. So, I mean,
just play your
the thing
Xbox on your
about it
phone.
is that do I think people should be able to buy games and things physically? I mean, sure. I'm not going to sit here and tell people they shouldn't buy things like that, like they shouldn't be able to. However, I think the problem is that I think that Microsoft sees the forecast, and that's why they were at that point. Granted, that document was like, I think it's like 2 or 3 years old now. I think that document was 2020.
Well, and Sony just dropped their disc too. They dropped the disc on the new version they're coming out with.
They did, but they still make it an attachment that you can buy.
Right.
So they didn't
gives you the
option. Drop it. However, I'm going to be very curious.
But nobody's going to be buying them. You know what I mean? Like,
you would have to be really. I don't want to.
Because you're going to end up paying more if you buy them separately by about $30 or so.
Yeah, when I was making that video,
so it's like you might as well opt in for another $50 and just get it right then.
If
versus going to be buying a PS5,
$75 later. Yeah, it's,
right.
So I guess what we'll find out is now that we know for sure that there is a console that's about to come out that has the option to buy a disc drive, I'm ready to see what those sales numbers are going to be like for that attachment. Mm-hmm. And I think that is Sony's way of kind of testing the waters without like pulling it, making everybody got the rug pulled out from under them. But they're also still coming out with they're still also coming out with another PlayStation. You know what I mean? It's
right.
They're not even calling it a Slim. That's a whole other conversation. Don't get me started on that. But
yeah, they're not changing the name or anything. It's just
they're not even changing the name.
PS5.
Don't get me started.
And when the current ones are out, the new ones are what it is.
Yeah, we've got the dinosaurs.
Buy the new ones. There's no reason to buy the new ones. They're just skinnier anyway. But for me, it's I don't have a. I'm actually one of those people that I welcome a digital future. I welcome it. I welcome it with arms wide open. And I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you why. I'm a game reviewer. I get games here and there every year to review, and I haven't received a physical game from a developer since I want to say 2013. I think it was the last time I got a game in the mail, and I think it was like Alien Isolation or something like that from Sega. And that was the last time. No, I took that back. Last time I got a game in the mail was Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege from Ubisoft. That's the last time I got a game in the mail. I just remembered. And after that, everything has been digital. So there's a reason for this. And the reason is because I know a lot of people, if you're just a casual and you're not, and you don't really know, like the three of us, we all work in the video game industry. We cover video games, we review them and stuff like that, and we discuss them. And so we work in the industry. So for us, it might be a little bit easier for us to accept digital stuff.
Right.
But to a person who is all hell bent on, you're going to take it from, you're going to have to rip it from my cold dead hands before you take away my physical media. I'm going to tell you something. This is business. It's business.
Business.
And the thing is, every business is looking to cut away costs. Remember we talked about what can a business do to earn more of this, but also prevent themselves from losing more of this too. You have to understand that like mass producing physical games is expensive.
Oh yeah.
It's
shipping
it is
printing.
It's not cheap.
Making discs, or whatever format it is.
Disc, shipping costs. You have to think shipping costs. The disc alone aren't that expensive individually. That's like pennies on the dollar to do that, but that's still a lot of money.
But it's still a process, and you're paying somebody. It's resources you have to mine or whatever.
So there's a reason why, and I look to the biggest comparison I look to is vinyl. Vinyl is a niche market.
It's
in the sense that if you want it, you can go find it, but it isn't like they overly advertise it. It's not like they say, "Hey, go get the new Taylor Swift."
On
vinyl. No, they don't do that. You know why? Because they say just go listen to it on Spotify, right?
So
like
exactly.
The thing about it is like
now they can track how many times it's getting listened to.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that's a real quick point. A lot of vinyls are coming out with the digital download code.
Yeah. Oh, really?
So I mean,
and that for years.
My thing is, I never saw these people banging on the drums or banging on the trash can when music went on Street Fight. PC. People are saying, "Oh, we have to preserve video games. We can't." we're not. How are we going to be able to preserve video games? We can't if I can't hold the video game in my hand. Dude, you don't get mad about how many games do you play on PC though? I mean, they're all digital.
To touch on that point,
make
it's
physical games on PC anymore. They just don't.
Oh yeah, and there is that wanting to preserve the game, but honestly,
I do.
Honestly, I think the internet and the digital side of that has done a better job of preserving these video games because they're accessible on your PC through ROMs or whatever, and you don't have to have the specific console or controllers and cartridge to run the game, which all those pieces as they get older are less likely to work. The internet and the digital age has done much better of a job of preserving video games. Like I can go back and play anything, you know what I mean?
So to play devil's advocate, what do you tell people who don't have good internet? What do you tell people who don't have good internet who say, well, okay, I don't play games at all digitally. I exclusively buy physical. I like to be able to trade my games in. I can sell my game if I get it physically, but I don't have good internet.
You can let your friend borrow it.
So what do you tell them?
Oh,
sorry, bud.
That's a good question. Right, get better internet.
Sorry, bud.
I hate to
because that's where everything's moving.
So I got into no, go ahead, Josh. Go ahead.
I was just saying because I was going to give my devil's advocate spin on it because there's a couple of things that I thought of since we've talked about it last.
Yes,
and really one that we're both kind of feel bad for not even thinking about. Okay, so because of the digital age, there's certain like versions of things that just don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
For instance, unless like a guy who knows a guy, because I mean, yeah, it is 2023, but you're not going to be able to watch the same cut of Star Wars that was originally shown on theaters in 1977. It's changed several times. In fact, there's do you remember the cut that we all watched as kids of Star Wars?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's not the same when you go to the store and buy it on Blu-ray now.
Yeah.
Or watched on Disney Plus right now. They've changed it since then.
Yeah.
And that's something that we didn't even talk about last time, is that the original Star Wars has changed so many times from what it originally was. And just kind of like, well, if you don't have the original physical release, you're never going to see this version.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like the other night when I was playing Night Trap, Bryce, you were like, whoa, this is on the PlayStation. I'm like, yeah, this is on the PlayStation. I don't know if it's still on the store. Like sometimes they take games on and off the marketplace, and if you don't already have it in your library, you're never going to be able to get it.
Due to licensing issues or whatever. Yeah,
well,
exactly.
Well, the thing too is that as someone who worked at a Blockbuster Video for like a decade, I can tell you right now, we didn't carry everything.
Right.
We didn't.
Oh yeah.
We didn't have like every movie ever made. So like you can't.
The stuff that's
so
selling.
I mean, so the problem is, however, I can tell you this: if we didn't have it, I used to tell people, and I'm not going to sit here and encourage people to pirate things because we're not going to do that. However, I used to tell people that, I mean, you have the internet. There's ways to find. That doesn't mean pirate. I'm just saying there is the internet. The internet is a tool that you can use. There's so many obscure titles I could find on the internet and find ways to purchase them or watch them. That kind of is how Blockbuster became obsolete. Like, I mean, they literally took down a physical retailer of renting movies and games. So, I mean, that's been quite a while ago. It's like we can't sit here and pretend like physical media hasn't been declining because the largest rental chain in North America, literally went out of business. That did that very thing. So, like,
did you hear about Netflix's most recent announcement?
No, what's that?
They're setting up physical media stores.
Oh, yeah. I heard that they're doing they're not selling movies or games. They're really just going to be like a it's like a Think Geek for Netflix.
Okay.
It's like a fan. It's like a
the
fan
article that I read was very like.
But I did hear about the Netflix place.
Yeah,
that's funny. No, it's supposed to be just a store that lets you buy like Stranger Things and all their, Netflix has tons of
Right.
licensed properties now that they
Merchandise.
own. So like you're going to be able
There
to
are several
and-
physical media Stranger Things box sets, like something like that might get carried because it's the whole packaging that makes it a special edition collector's item.
right, yeah. And I mean the thing too is like physical media, like I said, I don't care if people want to do I at the end of the day care how you buy your content? Hell no, I don't give a shit how you buy your content. Enjoy it however you want. I think it is kind of funny that there were so many people that I know who are like, I'm not going to shop at Best Buy anymore. I mean, okay, cool. Like, do you know how many people used to tell me they weren't going to rent from Blockbuster no more and they came back? I'm not going to say that these people are going to come back, but like, I don't understand why that makes you so mad, because you have to understand from a business standpoint. Let's look at what Best Buy sales. Let's use Best Buy for an example here.
Mm-hmm.
No, wait. Let's use Walmart. Walmart's a better example. Walmart is the largest physical retailer in the entire North America. Okay, movies and games, but the rumor is they're getting rid of games, and which is weird because they're not getting rid of movies. I find that hard to believe. I think if they're going to get rid of it, they're going to get rid of it all. That's my opinion. But
I don't know, man. Like,
look at
the $5 Walmart movie bin is kind of like an American.
That's probably where they make
Americana
a lot of money
thing.
from. That's probably where they do make money. However, you have to understand, like, but then again, from a business standpoint, look at all the shit they have in their store. Do you really think they're going to tank by not selling video games? Fuck no.
I mean, the reason they're getting rid of it is because nobody's buying the shit.
No
you
shit.
ever go into Walmart and go in the video game section? It's like
it's
a
an atrocity
wasteland.
Anyway. It's
like you're walking back in time.
I have a
prices are out of this world. Like there's no deals,
bro. Have you ever
the selection
seen
is whack?
Dude, have you ever seen my TikTok video on my TikTok of me like walking into my local Meijer and it's just like a desolate wasteland of like deserted like aisle that like no one does anything to. Like I asked an employee, I forgot to mention this. I said, like, what's with your video game section? It looks like it's just not been touched in like 3 years. He goes, come on, man, digital. And he kept walking. I'm like, my man, that's exactly the answer I was looking for. Like, because, and that's just going to have to be a harsh reality for those who, because my thing is I got into an argument with somebody I know on Twitter 2 nights ago, and they're a game developer. And they were like, they live in Australia, and they're like, well, what about the poor people in Australia who can't afford internet? And I'm like, that sucks. I don't know what do you want me to say. Like,
get a Nintendo 64. Cat Williams has a whole stand up about it. It's a pimp decision.
I mean, the thing is like, do you think that the world should just stand still because one area? And I'm not like
can't catch up.
I'm not diminishing their issue. That does literally suck for them. They don't have good internet and they can't do digital. But do you expect the entire rest of the world? Like, dude, I bet there's some motherfuckers that live in like, I don't know, some third world country who are hanging on to all their VHSs. So we just fucking bring back VHSs because this town has VHSs. Fuck no, we shouldn't do that because we need to move on. Like technology progresses and it's just going to keep progressing. And you know what? Some people get left behind and it sucks for them. And I mean, hell, like I haven't, there's going to be some technology that I'm probably not going to be able to keep up with. Hell, keeping up with technology anyway is tough. I mean, your phone is almost no good anymore after a year of you buying it sometimes.
Right.
However, that's gotten a lot better lately. I will say that. But like at the end of the day, like there are going to be places around the world that are not going to keep up with technology. That's just how the world works.
Yeah.
And we can't, and when it comes to digital, these businesses, I hate to break it to you, but they don't really care about you not being able to keep up. They care about the people that buy their shit.
Oh yeah.
And they are going to cater to those that mostly buy their shit. Right. And if they know that people, I mean, you have to understand, these are all analytical based. They don't just decide to have a big board meeting and then like they have a guy with a hat and they pull out the next idea. Oh, we're going to get rid of physical media. That's not how that works. It's all analytical based. And I've been screaming from the rooftops for the last 4 years and telling my friends that love Sony ponies when they were getting mad at like, and listen, you like what you like, right? But there's some people that like things a little too much. Like they think that they have to like protect them or something. It's fucking weird. But like, it's whatever. But
I
like
know where you live.
me personally,
Fight about it.
me personally, these companies don't give a fuck about you. They're corporations. At the end of the day, you are just a fucking stat on the stat line.
Hold on. I happen to know that Sony loves me.
No,
they
they
send
don't.
me
Shut up,
emails
Josh.
that all the time that tells me how
Josh,
much they
no,
love
they don't.
me.
Fuck off. They don't love you. They love your money, bro. They love your
That's
money.
true.
That's what they love.
Well, they wanted to reach out to me personally to offer me a PlayStation 5 before the general public.
But that's because you signed up for a thing.
Yeah, I got the same thing
Yeah.
3
So,
times.
but no, but honestly, like
Santa Claus,
they-
no.
I tried to tell my Sony friends that were like giving Microsoft shit about this cloud stuff is so dumb. I'm like, okay, bet. We'll see how dumb it is.
Yeah,
And
right.
And then it's like Microsoft has been preparing for this
Yeah.
digital future for quite a while now. And so much so that when Microsoft started doing Game Pass, guess who also tried to do their own thing? Google, with that shitty Stadia service that no one ever really used except Josh.
Yeah,
And
then one with
and then they
Amazon.
had Luna with
Luna,
Amazon
yeah.
that had their
Yeah.
own weird fucking controller too. And that was an epic failure. The only other ones that's done that has been successful is Nvidia has their GeForce thing,
Mhm.
GeForce Now, but
Mm.
that's not really Game Pass. That's just like the ability to buy games, but like use their server to play the games on if you can't afford a good laptop, which I think is a really cool thing to do. And I think that's the future of digital gaming is that's how you connect that bridge of here I am, I can't afford a great laptop. How do I get to enjoy the latest and greatest? So you say, hey, guess what? Buy the games, but also pay for our service. And guess what? You don't need a $3,000 laptop or PC or whatever. You can play them on your TV and still use our service. Now, granted, you still need internet. You still need good internet.
Mhm.
And I think that we absolutely should be having good internet everywhere. I advocate
That's
for
only
like
going to
fiber
get better over time. Yeah, I mean,
and
they're
I think that
constantly upgrading.
and I do think that if we start embracing and going towards a more digital future, that's going to force these ISPs, these internet providers, to have to be like, all right, we're going to have like, because you can't do this if you're still capping data and things like that, and people can't have high speed data all the time. I mean, internet can get pretty expensive, especially if you live in a BFE type place where if you're in the boondocks and you can't get internet, you're going to be paying out the ass for it. I get that, I do.
And the digital, it's about getting the money, but in a lot of other countries, I've heard like they have way better internet than we do in America. Like we're still kind of getting up to speed with certain countries, and so I imagine in some of those places that the digital age is even a little bit further along than we are. You know what I mean? They're more digitized, like in maybe South Korea or something like that.
Oh yeah.
So it's just a matter of time really before, the rest of us start catching up to that level, and the digital just starts becoming more and more the norm.
Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of time, because the thing is like these companies are, we are merely just the people who buy stuff at the end of the day, right? We're just the user. We're just the person that buys it. We're not the people that run Walmart or Target or Best Buy or Microsoft or Sony. We're not. We're just the consumer. So, although we're going to obviously feel a certain kind of way when changes come, and a lot of people don't like change, and sometimes change is bad, and sometimes change is really good. However, they are doing these things for reasons. Now, are there some good reasons why an all digital future might be a bad thing? Absolutely. And I'm going to bring those up and I'll talk about these with you guys because I'm curious to know your thoughts on this. How do you guys feel about, do you guys think that we get to a point where we are not playing games physically? Does it worry you that your games might not be able to be played? Like you could be locked out of your games, or one day might not be able to play them on the servers anymore? Like, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I don't know if you remember, but I was fucking pumped to start playing Toy Soldiers one day on stream. And it got to the point where I was like 5 minutes to go and I went to go open the game. And because of licensing issues, Ubisoft made the game unplayable. They literally bricked their own game. You can't get past the start menu. They delisted it. And then they were like, if you still have this game, fuck you, you can't play anyway. And they didn't tell anybody, and they won't talk about it either. I've contacted them several times to be like, yo dog, what up? And they won't even like go fuck yourself back. It's even ruder than that because they just won't even acknowledge it. They'll talk to you about anything except that game and what happened to it.
Well, I just read an article the other day about this guy that's super pissed off. Had a huge PlayStation library, digital library built up, and he had gotten charged twice for something by Sony for like $7, and so
Something
he disputed
really low.
it on PayPal and disputed one of the payments, not both, and they banned his account for it. Sony banned his account, and he lost all of his digital games.
Everything.
And
Yeah,
there's
I mean, that's
nothing you can do about it. They're not going to like say, here, let's reimburse you, or here's your games on a different account, like make a new account and we'll transfer the library. There's just nothing, you know what I mean? And so that's one thing that's kind of there needs to be something put into place to prevent stuff like that from happening, where you just lose your entire library on a whim. Because that reminds me of like back in the day when we'd have to save our games in the on a memory card, and your memory card just got wiped for no reason, you know what I mean? And all that progress is gone, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, and I remember that feeling of that happening so many times in my life.
Too. Oh yeah,
and, or the file got corrupted or whatever. That was the thing. It just doesn't load anymore, and I'd be so hot, and there's nothing you can do about it. And so I really hope that I don't ever have to experience that feeling again with losing my actual games, not just the save file, but the actual library.
Do you guys think that this is going to put out GameStop at all? Like, how do you think GameStop's going to feel about this? If we, because they're like the number one retailer, big box retailer for video games. How do you guys feel like that's going to impact them from a standpoint of like, because they can't afford
we've already seen them.
I mean, they can't afford to
fill their stores with board games and novelty items. The pops and the
Funky Pops.
just anything. Like anything they can get their hands on that is slightly game related, they'll put on their shelf, and that's kind of what we've seen it happen. And honestly, maybe they'll go the route of like the Netflix store where they're just selling licensed products of video game stuff.
They bought ThinkGeek and then basically shut it down as a physical store.
They ran ThinkGeek in the background. That was a sad
which is terrible.
Yeah.
And it's like, if they're just doing that to do that, I don't know, it's gonna make me mad, but why?
I mean, they've already ran themselves into the ground, but the internet saved them, I guess. So maybe something like that will happen again. I don't know,
It's a death rattle, man.
My thing with GameStop is I've also worked there too. And the thing with GameStop is that they've had a problem anyway. Outside of this, they've already had problems. They've had problems. They can't keep a CEO there. They used to have Reggie Fils-Aimé, who was the CEO of Nintendo of America. He was actually their CEO for a little bit. And he's like, I can't do this shit. Fuck this. This is a sinking ship.
Shit, I'm
fuck out.
I love Reggie.
And Reggie's great. And if he can't even be there to help them, then who helps them, right? So, of course, the whole there's a movie called Dumb Money that's out right now. I want to see, and it talks about the GameStop, stock market stuff, which I actually I made some money off that, not gonna lie. Which helped them, but only helped them because of the squeezing of the stocks, and not so much because they're a great company that offers product. So that was really not even because of their products.
I think maybe it's a bit about their clientele, though. Like the gamers, like the the hackers and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, or whatnot. The gamers like can get really smart. Outsmart people a lot when they get.
I'll tell you from my standpoint. So
unified.
I personally, when it comes to gaming, I don't really buy video games anymore physically.
Yeah.
I
haven't either.
I almost mostly now buy digitally anyway. Because for one reason, Microsoft and Sony both have a reward program. So when you buy things digital, you get money back on those
Yep.
purchases in the form of like reward points and stuff,
Yeah.
which is a benefit.
You get that at GameStop a little bit too, but yeah.
And then if you have like PS, like for instance, you have PS Plus, you can save money on digital games. They have a lot of good, sales on PlayStation. Game Pass, you don't even need you don't even need a subscription on Xbox to save money. It's just built into their environment, which is nice. I think if you can have these companies give you, because they're gonna have to, right? Because the thing about being a PC gamer, and for those who don't know, I just got a really nice gaming laptop, and I've entered a whole new world of gaming that I didn't even know how great it is to be able to play games on a PC. And really delving into the Steam marketplace. I'm like, God, these games are fucking cheap. Like I can get this and I can get this, and they have bundles of games that are cheap.
Yeah, I still Humble bundles all the time.
So yeah, Humble Bundle is great. So I look at this, I'm like, okay, so if Microsoft and Sony can give people incentive to buy digitally, because here's the thing, if you're gonna get rid of cases and discs, and I mean, hell, they already got rid of manuals. Remember when every game used to come with an instruction manual? Dude, that's been a long time, right? We made it past that. That made a lot of people mad too. I remember when that happened. People were like,
I've seen them. It's funny because I've seen them on sale, just like random gaming manuals, like at Disc Replay, just like Game Boy manuals and stuff. And like people were actually like putting that on the shelf.
Yeah, and so with that, but I think since they are going to be able, in a way to save money without having to no longer ship product, which they're like, yeah, we would love to not be able to have to ship anything anymore. That would be great. If they can do that, and they can work something out with the developers, like, hey, so here's the deal, like, since we don't have to worry about spending any more money on shipping things, and you guys don't even have to worry about money on putting out physical things, can we come to like some sort of agreement, since our profit margins are now going to go up because we're not selling, when you cut away an expenditure on a budget for our business, that means your profit actually did go up because of that cut. So I think if they can work out something to where they can say, hey, like, now we don't have to put games out for $69.99, although that's going to be the hard part, because you got to think now people are buying games for $70, and they've been doing that for almost a year. And it's going to be really hard to like tell people, well, they don't need to do that anymore. So that's going to be a loss. But I think if people can get games and get them if we can go back to making the standard $60 again, because it's not completely $70 yet. Still, we're still in that kind of in between where some games are $50. Like Assassin's Creed Mirage was $49.99, but that wasn't all the game. It was a 15-hour game that I finished. But if we can get we'll say meet you in the middle, $54.99 is going to be the price point for digital games from now on. I think that would be a win-win for everyone. Yeah. And I think that it would, even though it would make people who are hell-bent on wanting games to be released physically, would be like, okay, well, because if you make or they could even go as far as to say, okay, physical games are going to be $70, but you can get digitally for $54.99. See, now you have incentivized the no longer necessary need to purchase physical games. But I think they're going to have to find a way to make the marketplace for games going down, because I mean, look at Call of Duty. Like, you go on the Xbox and PlayStation stores, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is still $60 for some stupid reason. Like, and I'm talking about the original.
And then there are a lot of games that are small enough budget to where they never even get a physical release if they don't have a big enough crowd or market to sell to. They don't even go physical unless they've hit a certain amount of sales and there's a demand for it. But or some games like Call of Duty Warzone or Apex Legends or Fortnite, like they never have a physical copy. It's the only digital. You know what I mean? There's a lot of that already, and those are some of the biggest games.
No, you're absolutely right. It is going to be interesting to see what happens. I think that I think in the realm of gaming is that what cracks me up is people are like, how dare you? They're shaking their fist. How dare you
Old
stop?
man shakes fist at cloud.
How dare you stop selling physical? I'm not going to shop there anymore. They will, by the way. But
that doesn't make sense to me.
But where were you at when music stopped being mostly physical? Where were you at when PC games stopped being physical? And I have another reason why I think games should go digital. I'm gonna let you guys take it over. I'm gonna grab something real quick. So, how about you guys tell the audience why you think digital or physical is better than the other? I'll let you guys take from there. I'll be right back. I got to grab something because this is important to the conversation at hand.
Fair enough.
Go ahead. Take it over.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, right now I'm kind of caught in between. I like them both. But
Mhm.
like I said, I like the convenience of the digital. One thing that I don't like about all the digital now is like it's slowly started creeping, maybe with the Xbox One and maybe a little bit in 360 where you had to start installing the games. I know that was always a thing on PC, but it used to be you just put the game in and you play it.
Yeah.
Now it's like you just have to install it and then the disc is useless. You know what I mean? So it's really like, what am I getting the disc for other than just to look at it and touch it? But
it's a dongle at this point.
Yeah, and that's just one thing, with the the digital that I don't like is that you can't just put the game in and play it. You have to install it and update and all that. Like it's not like it used to be where you just there's unless you're playing Switch, you get or then you can actually still just put a game in and play it. You don't have to install the Switch games. That's the one thing I like about that.
I do agree. I prefer my Switch games to be physical. They're like, there's a couple games that I have digital, but like my memory card isn't that big. They just came out with a terabyte for the Switch, and that's still like $150 unless you buy the off-brand. And the problem with buying the off-brand memory for the Switch is that sometimes it just bricks itself.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's
so it's like, okay, whatever. With the Switch, I'm going to try to do more physical to digital games. However, for my PlayStation 5, I do not own a single physical game because I bought the digital console at launch.
Oh yeah, I forgot you did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then like I said, you got to install it anyways, and then what's the point? Other than that, but then you just have to go through one more step to play it. You actually have to put the disc in so that it can verify that you still own the disc that you bought, that you have it, and then give it to someone else. And then it'll allow you to play the game. So it's just like adding another step. Like now I have to go put the disc in to play, like rather than just being able to instantly switch between any game you want.
Oh yeah. And then I gave my kids my PlayStation 4. They were Xbox kids. When I got with their mom. And now that we've become like a whole family unit, I'm like, no, we do PlayStation now. So I gave them my PlayStation 4, and we haven't bought a physical game for that since then either. Everything it's
that's what I'm saying.
They asked for the digital cards at Christmas and birthdays and stuff, so that's what the rest of the family gets them, and they buy games, and I help them manage the hard drive. I guess eventually we're gonna have to upgrade it to a bigger terabyte storage, but.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't buy physical games here anymore.
That is one benefit of the digital games is that you can just gift somebody a Xbox store card, or rather than like, oh, grandma's gonna go pick up a game for me for Christmas, and she doesn't know a damn thing about games. Now you got freaking Disney's whatever.
Buy your own
real
game.
Story. 1 year for Christmas, I got X-Men: Children of the Atom, the fighting game for the PlayStation 5 times. I got the same game 5 times.
Everybody heard you wanted it. What's he want? He wants that.
It's an Xbox. It's an X-Men game. Dude. Josh loves the X-Men. Yeah. Kudos to my family for knowing me enough to know that I love that game, but everybody got me the same fucking game.
So
nice.
So I'm back. I told you guys I had something, and I think Josh might know what I'm about to talk about. So I told you I don't buy games really physically anymore. And as a prosecution for the defendant of digital gaming, I would like to present my biggest piece of evidence as to why I think digital gaming, especially in the modern era of gaming, is that a fair way to put it? Is better.
Okay.
I like to submit Mortal Kombat 1 as
Shit.
yeah, Josh Dunn, I already know.
Yeah,
I like to submit this game.
I had a feeling that's what it was, but I was
I
hoping
would
it was
like
the
to
collector's
submit Mortal
edition
Kombat
statue.
1. You guys can't see this if you're listening, but I'm holding up the game Mortal Kombat 1 on the Xbox Series X. I bought this physically because I didn't know if I was gonna like, and I'll be honest, I didn't know if I was gonna keep the game. I might sell this later. I don't know.
Right.
But I was like, I haven't really bought a game like physically in a long time, so I'm like, why the hell not? I'll pick up Mortal Kombat. So I get home. I had no idea. This is like something I go look for. Like, oh, how many disc is a fighting game? Like, you wouldn't think that, right? Yeah. Guess what? This fucking game is 2 damn disc long. So this is my big deal.
So you got to install all that before you
a game in 2023 should not have 3 discs or 2 discs, let alone a fucking fighting game. Where are we in this world, dude?
How many
fighting
gigs
game?
is it?
What's that?
How many gigs was the install?
According to the back, they don't tell you that anymore on here.
If you give me 2 seconds, I'll turn on my PlayStation and find out.
They don't tell you. Well, it might be different on Xbox. They don't. They used to tell you on here. Well, that's convenient.
50
they used to tell you
gigs
how many
on a disc or something. Is it?
They used to tell you how many, how much space.
Right.
Why don't they tell you that anymore? Wow, I'm glad you brought that up. Let's see. Is there a manual in here? Oh, of course not. It doesn't say on
here. There's a QR code to take you to the link to the manual.
Whatever. Anyway, it's over 100 gigs. I know that.
Yeah, that's what
I know that.
So it's probably what, like, how many gigs are on one of those discs? 50, 60 gigs?
I don't know. So, but my whole point, that's beside the point.
I forgot I unplugged my smart TV. It's got a smart load up.
That don't even matter. The point is, it is 2023, and this is not Final Fantasy VII, where we need 3 or 4 or however many goddamn discs to play a game. And I never thought in my lifetime would I ever buy a physical fighting game. And I don't buy fighting games physically, modern ones anyway.
I wanted to call you a liar the other day, man.
Physically. I buy them digitally. And I opened this, I cracked this open, and I pulled the disc out. I'm like, because I did one of these. I was like, like not looking, and I popped it in because I just don't look. And I looked down as I right when I about closed it. I'm like, there's 2 discs in this damn game. Are you serious for a Mortal Kombat? So
114.7 gigs. By the way,
I told you, yeah, and
that's almost as much as Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: even when you put the disc in, it still has to do a mandatory update of like 95 gigs or some shit like that. I don't remember what the update is. So even though you can make the argument of, well, I like to put my disc in the that's fine and great, but you still have to have the disc be write the information to your SSD on your console, and then it still has to update with because you know how games are these days. Every fucking game that comes out now has a day one download of like fucking 50 to 90 or 100 damn patch. Don't we love that, getting these games day one and they just something fucked up, so we have to fix it ourselves in the form of a fucking patch. So I mean, the days of popping in a disc and just having it right and be done in 5 minutes, those are over, dude. So now it's you pop in, and this, you know how many times I had to swap discs? 3 times. I had to pop in this first disc, and then it had to tell me put in disc 2. So then I put that in, and then because one of these this is the data disc. Do you see that where it says data disc? Right? That's the first disc. And then you have to use this disc to play it. See how it says play disc right there?
Right.
Yeah. So when you put this disc in, it's done. Then you have to put this in to finish it. Then you have to put this back in to play it. I had to do 3 disc swaps just to play a fighting game. What kind of bullshit is this?
I bet it made you ready to beat some ass, though.
You can take your physical shit and throw them and shove it up your ass, because this is so
and give me
dumb.
4 chicken McNuggets. Yes, I do want to say on the other end. Do you know what this is?
Yeah, those are probably all your video games you own.
This was all my PS4 games that I had on an external hard drive on my PS5, and then one day it goes, be a real dick move if I just died right now and stopped working. So
No!
I'm gonna TLDR over 3 back and forth phone calls with Western Digital and 4 back and forth phone calls with PlayStation. Nobody knows what to tell me, but Western Digital said that if I send this in, they'll refurbish it for me or replace it. And then PlayStation's like, well, you just get a new hard drive and re-download your games on the PlayStation 4, I guess.
I mean, yeah.
Because all of my PS4 games that were on here that
Oh,
like
this is
if it's
great.
got the option to PS4 or PS5, or if
Yeah.
there's like sometimes they come with like the soundtrack, or I forget what all of them, but it's a lot of games that I wanted to play, specifically Predator. Because Predator, like I got the deluxe edition, it comes with that mini comic book and stuff. I can't just bring it up on my crossbar and delete it. So it still thinks that it's able to play through this. So it just loops and won't let me start it up. It won't let me re-download it. It won't nothing.
Man.
And nobody knows how to fix that other than just get a new hard drive and download those games on it and then plug it in, and maybe that'll work. Maybe that'll work. And this is content that I've spent money on and played hours on.
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe it'll work.
I mean, the thing is like for video games, I prefer digital because all I got to do is like I can pre-install the game. Like Spider-Man 2 is already ready to go at midnight on my PS5. I pre-ordered it yesterday. It's ready, baby. When the clock strikes 12 o'clock on the 10th, whatever.
And that's kind of a
20th,
two-sided
ready to
coin.
go,
Like
baby.
with the midnight releasing of games on
20th.
digital is really convenient and allows you access to the game right away.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's now that it took away the midnight releases where you go hang out at GameStop. Like those were fun to me. Like I liked going
I
to
missed
go
the midnight release.
and I
There
mean
was a
I
whole
went
sense
to
of
get
community.
it Tears of the Kingdom. I went to a midnight release for, and I
Mhm.
was like, cool. And at least Nintendo's like keeping that alive somehow. Like, but for the majority of it, like that's all gone away.
Yeah.
So
No,
it's a
I get
two-sided
it.
coin with the digital. With that, it makes it super convenient, but also you kind of lose that, that old.
And
sense
I've
of community.
even been in GameStops like the day before a game would come out, and they would allow people to come in and pick up their pre-order because the console won't let you play it anymore.
Oh,
Mhm.
right.
Yep, that's the exact video I knew you were going to bring up.
Yeah. So for those who don't know,
Oh, I was like, what
well,
the hell am I
hold
getting?
on. There we go. So for those who don't know,
Hacked?
this is my post on Facebook from September 16th, 2013. By the way, Grand Theft Auto 5 is 10 years old, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
This was me in Lafayette, Indiana. Well, not me right there, but from my
Right.
point of view. And this is everybody waiting at GameStop there in Lafayette, Indiana for Grand Theft Auto 5 when it first came
Yeah.
out. You can even see a little poster right there if you look.
Yeah.
And look at all the people. I mean, look at this shit. You got people way back here.
Yeah, there's a
Like
lot of people at that one.
a
I've never been to one
madhouse
with that many
crowd.
people.
And I miss that shit. Like
Mhm.
absolutely miss that stuff.
Yeah, just
Like-
meeting people, getting gamer tags. Like, all right, let's party up when we get home. Got someone
Yeah.
to play with.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's just an example. Like I do miss that. You're right. I absolutely do. I
And
just
that's
for me
something
it's
that
like
the digital is kind of taken away as well.
I just feel that like times are changing, and yeah, they're gonna it's gonna suck sometimes, but like at the end of the day, if people's wallets get a little bit less lighter or more, you know what I mean, over it all, it will be a good thing, I think,
Mhm.
for consumers. I mean, let's face it, like I think DVDs and Blu-rays are going to become a niche market, much like in the way of vinyl.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think that
There's already
They
a
already
collector's
are.
appeal to them.
They
yeah, I mean, you've got the secondhand market. I mean, that's what the mom and pop stores are for. And here's the good part too. If it means that Walmart and Best Buy and Target or whoever stop selling movies and that mom and pop stores make more money, dude, that's a win. I think that's a win. I think that if that's going to help mom and pop stores be able to make more money by selling things that are more niche, that's great. However, the bad part is when physical media stops being sold, guess what happens? The value of all those things are going to go way high.
Mhm.
And so what I recommend is if you have a lot of physical stuff, don't sell it. Hang on to it. even those movies that might not be worth anything right now, if there's going to be a
Didn't they
mass
run there?
exodus of physical media no longer being sold, then that means you just have a lot of stuff that's going to be worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
Is
And
there a
you know,
VHS of Rocky that just sold for like 20 grand?
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and
yeah,
that's something that I was going to say.
that's wild. Yeah, I remember
I'm
hearing about
actually mad. That I didn't think of it either because it's something that I know you and I've talked about several times, Brian.
that. Mhm.
Oh, the Saturday Night Live guy that always seems to end up
Pete
dating like
Davidson.
ridiculously hot women. What's his name?
Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
Pete Davidson. He just did an interview where he was talking about how he's
Oh,
been
yeah.
for years
Yeah,
buying sealed VHSs because he knew
Yep.
that he was ahead of that curve. And he specifically brought up that Rocky sale. He's like, I'm about ready to sell. And I was thinking about it. It's like, I've really got some things that I haven't checked on the prices on in a while, but
you
like
should.
I've got some really rare VHSs that were, 10, 20 years ago when I bought them. People were
Yep.
like, whoa, that's pretty gnarly. So now
Yeah.
it's like, oh no. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to say what it is. I don't want people breaking into my house if I'm really sitting on that much
Yeah,
money.
no, there's
I
There's
think
some
that
really,
in that interview he said that he bought all those because it was about to be the 20th anniversary of the last VHS like that was printed
Yeah.
or whatever,
that was printed.
that-
Yeah.
Yes, you've seen it too. Yeah, I remember saying that.
so he was kind of anticipating once that 20 years hits that everybody would kind of be on that
Mhm.
wagon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that will I be sad if there's no more physical media? Yeah, because like it's gonna be odd going in and not being able to like, the whole, when you're able to like pull it off the shelf and like, oh, let's look at the back. What's the back? Because I love reading the back of the boxes, right? Everybody
Right.
loves doing that. Like
Right.
look at it and you kind of get to, and sometimes when you touch it, you feel good about it, right? Maybe a little bit. And
When you got that new smell when you open
and you
up
do this
plastic,
weird thing
know,
like I
right?
do.
just sit there
That weird
smelling
shit.
it
I
on
do
the
that
way
too.
home, and
But like I don't know. It's I don't know. I am not really at the least bit concerned about losing all my games digitally because and I'm not even talking about getting banned or anything. I don't think that when you get banned you should lose all your games. I think that's bullshit. I think that
that's pretty messed up.
they're gonna have to change a policy because now unless you're pirating games, then yeah, they should fucking take your games away.
Right.
But if you're getting banned for like, I don't know, being a dick to somebody on in a voice chat or something like that, they shouldn't take away
Right.
your years and years of like this collection you've built. They shouldn't be allowed to do that. I think if anything, they should just ban your account from being online, but or being able to join games online or play games online, but still give you access to your library because at the end of the day, that's your money. But if you get, I think it has to be a situational, like it has to be a case by case thing. Like, what did they do? So did they pirate games? Okay, ban them and take away all their games. Were they being a shithead to people online repetitively? Okay, ban them from playing games or ban them from online gameplay.
or just ban
Let
their
them-
communications. Make it so
Well,
they
ban their
can't
communications.
They
Yeah,
can't
like,
mic or
there's-
text.
But there's no need to ban their like a ban should not always mean you are banned from playing your games.
Right.
It needs to be a situational. The punishment needs to fit the crime in a way, right? Not just be a blanket of you are
That's
losing
the-
all your games.
And
I
that's
think that's
kind of a hard
bullshit.
thing to get out of like a big corporate company like Sony and Microsoft. Like
Yeah.
they just kind of go with the blanket judgment,
Yeah.
like this is how it is for
Yeah.
everybody. And
And not only that, but why would you stop someone? Like, okay, somebody's being a dick to me, and you ban them from communicating. Fine, but doesn't mean they don't want to play your games anymore. So why would you completely ban them from playing video games? Period. Like that's an anti-consumer move, in my opinion.
right,
I think that's more
and
anti-consumer.
and I feel like
than-
that would draw somebody to piracy more because like, I
Yes.
just bought all
Yeah.
these games, so now I'm gonna go get them all illegally online somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I got robbed
Yeah.
essentially for my library.
No, you're
So
absolutely
then
right.
you're just, it's kind of like you're pushing them away.
Mhm. No, I agree. Let's step away from games for a little bit. Let's talk about books. We had
And
mentioned
yeah.
we mentioned books, and I'm not just talking books, but like we'll talk about comic books too, because those are
Mhm.
big deal. And I know we've all enjoyed a comic book or two,
Oh, yeah.
and we've also all have read a book or two. I'm sure at some point. Um, I know, Bryce, you had mentioned earlier in this conversation that you don't see a whole lot of bookstores anymore. You're absolutely right about that, by the way. There's not too many big box retailers that are bookstores. I mean, I think there's still Barnes and Noble. I remember when Borders bookstores closed like a few decades ago, which that was my jam. I used to love going to the Borders bookstore in downtown Indy.
Mhm.
Cool place to go to if you know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
And bookstores are not really even all that relevant anymore. And even if it is a place that sells books, they're most likely selling video games and movies too. They're not just selling books.
Yeah.
Barnes and Noble doesn't just sell books. Barnes and Noble sells video game or
The only
I think
bookstore I see around is
yeah.
like half price books anymore, and that's just like
Mhm.
a
and
used,
that's all secondhand, like
Yeah.
gently
like
used
the
stuff.
like a GameStop.
But
for books.
but even they aren't even just books.
free
They're
play.
they're like a mixed media. They're all mixed
Yeah.
media now.
Mhm.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
I remember back in the day
Yeah,
when
they've
you had
got
like
CDs
Walden
and stuff
books
in
and
there.
B. Dalton books, and you had like
Everybody.
was just you had pure bookstores. Even FYE, I don't even really see FYEs anymore.
Yeah.
For You Entertainment, they are also a mixed media, but they don't sell books. They're mostly CDs and movies and stuff.
Maybe some Japanese manga, but
That was
Yeah,
all,
but
that was all like the original Amazon started
Yeah.
selling books online is how they got their
Mhm.
start.
Yeah.
So that was kind of
I
where it
I
all
want to
started
say
driving
I think the
digital.
script is flipped for me here on books. I actually am a person that enjoys actually reading a book and actually holding the book.
Yeah.
For me, it's that that aesthetic of turning a page, I think is what it is. I think for me, it's like I have read a few comics on my phone or like a tablet or whatever,
Mhm.
and it's just not the same.
It's not.
Because you're still not turning the page. I think it's just that aesthetic of like
feeling,
that
Mhm.
that
the
that
sound of it,
feeling, like
and
that your
the
it's
smell
more
of the
tangible.
book,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
even just like I feel like the screen on a digital, is just more straining on the eyes. Like over time,
It is. Yeah.
you're able to read a lot more just on
Mhm.
a book, and
Yeah.
you're not using electricity and whatnot.
There's been times too, like I may have like a digital copy of the book, but then I go get the book. And so then I'll like go back from like, okay, here I am in the digital, but this is where I'm at in the physical, and just kind of keep up with both.
Mhm.
But I think in the realm of in the space rather of books, it is very much I prefer physical books than I do digital books. Would you guys
Yeah.
how do you
Yeah.
guys feel about that? You
No,
guys feel the same?
absolutely. I absolutely agree. And more recently for me, one of my favorite comic book creators, Keith Giffen, passed away. And
Yeah.
he did a lot of fantastic work with DC, did a couple of books for Marvel, but basically what it was is him and DeMatteis did a lot of like lighter takes on the superhero genre.
Yeah.
Some of my favorites, formerly known as the Justice League, and I can't believe it's not Justice League, and those were literally the names of those runs. And then I've been kind of trying to go around and just I lost a lot of my comics a couple of years ago, so I've been still trying to get a lot of the important ones back.
Sure.
And I
Yeah.
recently got a hold of their Defenders run. So today I was just kind of thinking like, okay, I think it's time to pick up another, Giffen DeMatteis set, especially since Giffen passed away recently. That's going to shoot up just because the market always does like that.
Mhm.
And Amazon's
Sure.
like, you can buy this formerly known as Justice League trade paperback for $19.85, or you can just get it on Kindle for $1.92. I was like, that $1.92 kind of sounds dope. It's not what I wanted, but I can at least get that for now, so I'll have it. And then it's like, oh, but do you want to activate your Comixology account and this and that? I'm like, no, absolutely not. Fuck that. Physical copy it is.
Right.
Yeah, no, I much rather I don't know. I think the thing about physical media in general, and this is what I'm going to miss if the physical media goes.
Mhm.
I will say right now, books are not going to go away. Books are always going to be around.
No.
Right.
Books are going to stand the test of time. There's no to be if they get to the point where we're going to get rid of books, then that's just the stupidest, saddest. That's going to be a very sad and depressing place to live in.
Absolutely.
But I will say that as far as movies and games go, I don't collect movies a whole lot. I collect
Mhm.
VHS movies. I have a non-VHS VHS collection. It's a joke. It's a running joke between my wife and I.
Yeah.
Not that, like, I buy a movie and I'm like, I don't really want to buy it, but um, it's more of a collection of meaningful movies for me than anything else.
Mhm.
But um, it's that hunt. It's that
Yeah.
hunt for that item, right? That's what's fun.
You can
It's
go online and
the
find anything.
it's the hunting it down, and there's always a story. And I think what's going to happen here is because modern physical games, you don't have to hunt for them; they're just there.
Yeah.
So physical media is going to stay. It's just not going to be continued, right? It's different. So I think for me, the fun part about physical media for me is the hunting down stuff. Like, I have my holy grail items I want in my video game collection, and it's the hunting them down or the stumbling upon them, which makes it fun. And I think that when physical media goes away for gaming, it might make that hunt a little bit more exciting because we're not going to have those anymore.
We're gonna start seeing,
Yeah.
like Storage War type shows, but just like hunting down,
Mhm.
video
Yeah,
game,
man.
relics
Yeah.
and stuff. Like, oh, I
Yeah.
finally found this one copy of this. But to touch on the books, like, I don't think I've ever read an entire book on a digital format.
Oh, I have not. I've read comic books.
I've
I
done
have.
some of it, but I just couldn't do it. And
Mhm. Yep.
but one thing I do like in the digital form is the audiobooks. Audiobooks,
Oh yeah,
I
for
can
sure.
do that all
Absolutely.
day, and that's kind of a cool thing that the digital media format has brought into the
Mhm.
book
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
that is really
Absolutely.
I've done that many
exactly.
times.
I've consumed so many more books recently because someone else was able to read them to me while I was doing something else
Yeah.
in the physical book form. Um, the audio book novelizations of Halloween and Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends is what I listened to while I was setting up the 31 Frights,
Nice.
all that
And
stuff.
Oh,
and if they
nice.
put a
Yeah,
good
nice.
narrator in there, or maybe
Yeah.
some music or sound effects, like it can really amp up
Yeah.
the book
Yeah,
experience.
make it not as boring. Feel like it's boring. Yeah.
Because it's the same story, but they added so many more details and stuff like that to it. And what's really crazy is there's stuff in the novelization of the 2018 Halloween movie that definitely, like, they were not expecting to make two more sequels, and you could tell because
Yeah.
it's like this character is now dead. It's like, no, he's not.
Yeah, I think that for the most part, the physical media is going to always exist in some way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
Granted,
As we've seen, there's still
granted, music.
VHS and vinyls and all that still around today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think
something will
music
remain.
though is the one that you don't really find new stuff made outside
Yeah.
of vinyl.
There's a
You're
small,
not,
vinyl
that's a niche
circle that,
thing. It's a
like,
niche.
here
It's a niche market.
where I live, there's like 2 vinyl stores within a mile of each other, and they've been there
Yeah.
for years. And
Yeah.
it's just the community around here is into that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So there's still small pockets of it, but and I feel like that, with that'll stay with any media form, whether it's DVDs or video
Mhm.
games.
Yeah.
There'll be small pockets of areas that those people kind of group together.
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be it's gonna turn movies and DVDs and Blu-rays and games into a physical, all those physical things into a
Yeah.
niche market, and it's gonna make all the value of them go up really high. So that's gonna be interesting to see how much more games are gonna be worth once they don't make physical games. However, I still firmly believe we are several years off from
Yeah.
there not being any newly produced physical anything.
Even like
anything like
the
movies,
rumors,
games, whatever.
The rumors that I've heard of the new Nintendo console that's supposedly in development, said that they're still going to keep a physical media drive on it.
That's good.
So
yeah,
we're not
I
there
think,
yet.
I don't
Once
think
Nintendo
like I said,
drops it, then we're in trouble.
Like I said, I
Right.
don't care. I personally do not care how people buy their games or their movies. Fuck all, whatever you want, just buy it how you want. I just think it's fun. It's just so funny to see so many people be like, "I'm not gonna shop there no more
Yeah.
because you're taking the movies away." Like, have you been to the Best Buy movie section lately? Have you been? Have you had a
No.
real long talk with yourself about about that section? Because I literally went that night. I posted a funny. I posted a picture of myself on Twitter. I said, "I'm here at Best Buy buying all the movies before you get them, right? Because before they go away." And I
Mhm.
went and I actually talked to an employee, and I haven't posted anything about this, but I talked to an employee. I said, "Hey, because we were shopping for a laptop." I was like, "Hey, do you really think that you guys are going to not sell these anymore?" And he's like, "Have you seen our section?" And I was like,
We haven't
and
sold anything in years.
he's
You know,
like,
and
Well,
he's like,
it's
no
collecting
one goes
dust.
over there. He's like, it's a ghost town. It's
Yes.
like a deserted like city. No
Yeah.
one goes
and
over.
what's absolutely nuts is my Best Buy has all these fucking hard to find steel books and like special like Arrow Video is predominantly like a UK like video,
Yeah,
company. They've got all sorts of Arrow Video releases in the US just like sitting on the shelves at my local Best Buy because nobody goes in there and checks it out. Like I'm literally thinking about going in there and cleaning up like my holiday, buying list because
yeah.
it's like, oh hey, this 3-disc Mallrat set that you can't even buy online anymore. It's here for $20.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah. And the thing too
And
is,
that's what's fucked about it.
the thing about it is, yeah, I mean, a lot of people are upset because Best Buy was the place to go to for the steel books. I honestly don't buy movies physically. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't go. I think there would only be a few things I would want to get would be like maybe the complete disc set of like the Ninja Turtle show, the 89, cartoon. I probably want that. If they
See,
ever
I
did
bought
it.
that physically, used the digital download code, and then gave the physical set to a friend of mine because he's got a
Yeah.
young kid that likes turtles,
Yeah.
and I don't want to fuck with that many discs.
Right. But I think for me, I'd also like if they ever put it out, if they ever put out like a really badass like disc set of all the Power Rangers, like all the Mighty Morphin Power, not like Zeo and all that other shit. Like if they did a
Yeah.
whole box set of like Power Rangers, the classic MMPR show, I would
Shout
love
Factory
to own
did
that.
it.
I would love to own that physically on
Shout
Blu-ray.
Factory did it like 15 years ago, dude.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but like,
Yeah.
that just goes to show like I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to the physical movie space, and I think a lot of it has to do with people's age. I've noticed that like a lot of people that are in their like maybe mid to late 30s, like me, or an up, are the ones that I would say what is it, Gen Z or Gen X? Gen X.
Mhm.
They tend to be the ones that are like, don't take my movies, like nothing against them. It's just I have noticed that the majority of people who are not happy about this are Gen Xers and elder millennials that are like people like me who just got in that millennial generational pool, if you will. So those are the people that I notice that are like getting upset about the most. But me, at the end of the day, I look at it from a business standpoint. It's just space. It's taking up space, and it's product that's not moving.
Like I said at the beginning, it seemed like it was just a matter of time.
Yeah, like any good business is not going to want a space on their showroom floor to not be making money. Right. We used to call them red zones or hot zones. I don't know if you guys ever worked in retail like I did, but like when I would have to set displays in Blockbuster, and especially in GameStop, we had what's called hot zones or red zones. Some people, it's always the color red. It has to do with red.
Yeah.
And these were the zones that were where product was moving the fastest. And so these were the parts of the store that we wanted to make sure we prominently displayed things because that's where money was coming out of, was those areas. Yeah. And so, of course, the blue zones or the cold zones, these were the areas of opportunity that like, it's either a bad area to begin with that we need to have good product, or it's the product that's bad. And we'd have blue zones for areas of opportunity that need more traffic and people that need to shop the store more. But we also had blue products too. And these are all we had pages upon pages of all these blue products that were just not moving out. And I remember when I worked at GameStop, there were so many times where I saw my store's demographics like every week. I got a report of like the demographics of like, okay, here's what genre of games we're selling the best. Here's what platform of games were selling the best, whether it's Xbox or Sony or whatever. And of course, you know, we were supposed to sell based off that. Now I didn't do that because I like them all. I'm going to tell you what I like, right? So people just don't understand the analytical side of this. It's a business, and there were so many times where I had to box up games. Like, say for instance, we would have stores that were designated sports game stores. These were stores that sold the most sports games. So these were the stores that were fucking killing it on Madden, right? Or 2K. Our store was not one of those stores. So we, didn't get as many copies of those games because why the fuck would we if we're not selling them, right? And B, if we got trade-ins, guess what we did with a lot of those? Overflow. We shipped them to the store that would sell it because that's what you do. Yeah. Like, that's good business to do. So Best Buy is just looking at they're analyzing, they're saying, okay, nationwide, we are just not moving these products. They are not moving. It's a dead zone. And nobody's even shopping it. So what do we do? And they probably had this same, I would imagine this isn't just something to do with the drop of a hat. They probably had this meeting on their agenda, or this on their agenda at their meetings several times by now, throughout the course of physical media being a big thing. And now they've probably been like, if they're doing this, which we still have, none of them have confirmed this yet, as far as we know, but they're probably at the point where, like, you know what, it's time. Someone's going to have to pull a trigger. It's going to be us. We were the ones that pulled the trigger on music. So we're going to have to be the bad guys now again and pull the trigger on movies and whatever. And then the rest of the industry is just going to follow suit. They're all waiting on who's going to do it first. That's what they're doing. Yeah. They're just all waiting. Who's going to pull the trigger first? Who's going to be the guy? Who's going to be the company to take the bad PR? And it's looking like it's going to be Best Buy again. And then everybody else is going to do it, and then give it 5 years, and we're all just going to. It's not even going to be a big deal anymore. Just like it is now. Nobody cares.
Everybody threw a fit, you know, when Xbox originally, you know, was trying to go that direction with Xbox One. They were trying to go all digital and the DMR, and everybody threw a fit, and they backtracked real quick, but they already kind of saw where it was going, and they were just trying to get a jump on it, but. And like you said, they were the ones that took the brunt of the bad PR.
I'm telling you.
But here we are 10 years later doing the same exact shit that they were talking about.
Yeah, man. I think Microsoft has really, everybody gives Microsoft shit, and they deserve it a lot of times. They do. They deserve it. They have made lots of bad decisions. I think now they're finally getting their head on their shoulders because they got this Activision Blizzard deal done. They got Bethesda done. I think that they have decided to position themselves as, you know what, like, why do we have to worry about making our own fucking games? We can just buy all the games and have them make them for us, which I think is a fucking smart thing to do. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Fuck yeah, I'll do that. I'll buy them, let them make games for me.
They're just cutting out the middleman, just make money, and
then
do the same thing with the console, you know.
Right, and then what they're doing is
try to cut out.
I think there's going to be a day where we don't play games on consoles anymore. It's just in the cloud. It's all in the cloud. Like the cloud is our console from now on. Yeah, now that is kind of a scary thought, considering we better have damn good internet, because I don't know about you, but when I'm playing a game online competitively, I don't want to be playing it on the cloud.
Well, I want to be playing it. It's going to have to be really good if you're going to be playing Call of Duty. Like, you're going to need real good internet for that. But if you're playing, like, you know, just Super Mario Brothers by yourself, you know, like, you won't need as much. But yeah, so there'll still be a place for some hardware, I think. You know what I mean? I think need some hardware too in the higher competitive areas of gaming. But
Josh, you guys got any? We're about to wrap up this episode. You guys got any final thoughts?
I'm going to say that the digital media and COVID killed E3, and it pisses me off.
Yeah,
I never got to go.
It absolutely did, yeah.
Because everybody's like, we'll just live stream our own events. Why the fuck weren't we doing this to begin with?
Exactly.
And now E3's dead, and I never got to go, and the little kid inside me is being crushed.
My hopes and dreams are all crushed.
Yes.
I keep hoping that they'll bring it back one day, but I'm just gonna have to go to Gamescom one day, or Gamescom.
Right.
Fly out to Germany.
There's PAX. There's PAX. There's still PAX.
Oh yeah,
they have 3 shows a year.
Yeah, I need to go to PAX. I need to go to PAX one year.
We can go to PAX. We'll all get press passes. We'll go to PAX.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
It's gonna happen.
I guess as far as final thoughts, I really can't give you one, man, because my final thought is that it's all over the place. My birthday,
Yeah, I
you know
hear
what I
that.
bought myself? The Phantasm 5 disc set.
Oh man.
I already own them digitally, but now I've got them on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I can't be watching movies digitally. Right now, my kids are
Mhm.
downstairs. I mean, it's probably over by now because they started like right when I came upstairs and got on and
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
watching the
Sure.
original Nightmare on Elm Street on DVD. Uh,
Nice.
that we, they since we're having Wi-Fi problems, it's like, okay, that's the solution. We watch something.
Sure.
Also,
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Yeah, if the internet goes down, or like
yeah,
whenever I
right.
move, I don't have my internet hooked up yet.
Mhm.
I'm popping in my DVDs. You know, what I mean, that's
Bro,
Oh
what I'm
yeah,
doing.
I'm there
And
with
you
you.
kind
Yeah.
of get this nostalgia
Mhm.
going back. So it
yeah,
is nice to have a small collection of your favorites. I have Akira on DVD,
yeah,
Natural Born Killers. Just
dude.
You
My
know,
kids watched Akira for the first time this summer because I let them go through my DVD shelf and they're like, "Oh, anime, what's this?" And I'm like, "Dude." And then talking about horror movies,
yeah.
my
Yeah.
oldest, he's 18. He goes, "Yo, is Perfect Blue, is that an anime horror movie?" And I'm like, "Yeah, please watch it, watch it." So he still hasn't told me what he thought about it, probably because it confused him too much. But like, I don't know, man. There's so much to say about physical media. Like this right here is Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D. It
3D. Yeah.
comes with,
Blue glasses.
and I cannot stress this enough, the little red and blue
Mhm.
hockey mask,
All
style
right,
glasses.
nice.
You can't do that on a
Nice.
streaming service.
No.
Nice. Yeah.
So,
For me, I want to encourage our audience, if you're listening to this right now, or if you're listening to it when it's recorded and you get to this part of the show, if you have a laptop, just check the sides of your laptop. That kind of tells you all you need to know, because a lot of laptops those don't even come with a disk drive anymore. That's where we're at.
mhm.
Oh
That's
yeah,
Yeah.
where we're at.
yeah. Mine
I
Like,
doesn't.
keep the PS3 in the office to watch Blu-rays on.
there's just no disk drives on laptops. I think that's a big tell,
Mhm.
really, that when they, and I didn't hear people going, "Oh, you're ripping the drives out of my," like nobody got mad about that, right? But like
It
now,
happened overnight. Nobody knew
I
to
was
get
like,
mad about it.
I just
yeah.
bought this PC and it had a DVD RW. You know what I mean? I'm like, whoa, like,
Whoa.
I might burn a
Dude,
DVD. You know,
I do miss the days
Nice.
of
I
burning
still have
music.
some blank discs in my desk from years ago, just sitting
Hell
there.
yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. I do
Let's
miss
fire
making
this
like
bad boy up.
mixtapes way back in the day, or like doing like burning a CD. Yeah, I'll burn
Mhm.
a Park CD or
Mhm.
something like that. Like doing that kind of shit. But now it's just like, hey Bryce, I got this really dope playlist on Spotify I can send you. Because like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it. That's all
And
there
that,
is to it, dude.
or
It's
you
like,
just if
you
you're in
know,
my car or whatever, just hook your phone up to the Bluetooth and
yeah. I have a
hit
stereo
Mhm.
in my car that's Bluetooth now, so I can listen to
Yeah.
whatever the hell I want on my phone.
I don't even
Right.
have an aux cord.
Yeah.
The CD player doesn't work. I'm literally listening to the radio everywhere
There
I
you
go, and
go.
it's so terrible.
Oh no, dude.
I'm living in 1995 or something. Like,
You know what you could do? What a lot of people do have been doing is they've been getting those Amazon Echo Dots and like sticking them to the roof of their car, and you can turn on your mobile data on your phone when you're in your car and use it as a hotspot, and then that's how you can play music. Thank you. You're welcome.
yeah, I have brought my
See, yeah,
Bluetooth
Josh is like,
speaker in my
"What?"
car. I have brought my Bluetooth speaker into my car and just
Yeah, just get
hooked my
yourself
phone up to it.
just
I
I
need
go
got
on
to get a
CDs.
Amazon.
hotspot, but
Just go on Amazon, get yourself an Echo Dot. They're like $34.99.
I've got one in
Get
the living room.
some
It's funny.
sticky stuff on the bottom, and
I actually
stick
got it
that
for
motherfucker to the
on
roof of your
sale
car,
for
and
$5 on Amazon.
you have
I
yourself
have to get
a
one.
Bluetooth radio right there.
Wow.
See,
Nice.
see,
Wowzers.
it's just like
I'm
that.
listening to CDs. So
Hey, that's fine.
look at me back in 1999.
Yeah, I don't even have a CD player in my car. It's just radio and Bluetooth.
Yeah, I mean,
And I can get a remote for it too. I have a fancy remote to radio.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's got RGB lighting and all that.
So you can
crazy
sit in
weird.
the back seat.
Dude, I'm
and
not
change the
kidding.
music.
It came with the car. I didn't install it in there. That's the way
Right.
it came with it. It's fucking weird. But yeah. I mean, I think that no one got really mad about PC games not being physical anymore. I can't recall anybody being angry over the lack of physical.
It happened overnight.
Moderate
And that's
overnight.
that's not
Just
really
happened
something you can
overnight.
get mad at one company for, like you can with like Microsoft or Sony. Like
The
Mhm.
industry
the
just said,
PC
"Fuck it,"
games,
and did
that's
it.
just that's just
Yeah.
all different developers and just
Mhm.
saying, yeah, we're
Mhm.
just this is how we're doing it because nobody's buying it anyway.
But it's funny to
When
me.
you have
It's
the
still,
option.
but it's funny to me because I see like people like Some Ordinary Gamers on YouTube. Budahar, he's a big guy. He's a big champion of game preservation. And he's all like, but we gotta have physical media. But it's like, bro, you have explicitly said multiple times that you play your games mostly on a PC. So wait, how are you gonna sit here and champion for physical games when you don't even buy games physically really anymore? Like that's just an odd thing. And I think preservation to him means mostly the ability for consoles to still be able to play old games, which I think that would be a great conversation for us to have at one point on here, is to talk about, backwards compatibility. Is it something that needs to happen over and over again every new console generation? Because I know a lot of people are even wondering about the Switch 2. Is it going to have backwards compatibility? Are we going to be able to play our old Switch games?
Well, that was the thing that was always nice with PC, is that you didn't have to be backwards compatible. You could play PC.
You just upgrade your PC. You just upgrade your PC.
I can download Blood from 1996 and play it on right now. I don't have to.
No, you're right.
But
you don't need to do any. You don't need to do anything special. Yeah. Well, guys, that is going to do it for us here on The Next Level. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, and if you listened, we appreciate that as well. Thank you so much. For listening to this version on audio or watching with us live. This will still be up on our YouTube channel here on the domain, GPC. So this will stay on here. So if you want to come back and watch this video version, I'll put links to it once we get the audio version out, so you guys can come back and watch this later. And it's something we decided to try because I have the ability now to actually stream. And so I think we should, we're going to try to take advantage of that as much as we can now to do more live content. We're also going to be bringing back our old video game show called Friendly Fire, which I'm super stoked about. We talk all about video games. That is our video game show, by the way. So, like just talking about video games, we are planning on bringing that back. That will also be here on YouTube as well. Also, don't forget you can catch us on here on YouTube. We do tons of videos. We do unboxings. Bryce talks about gaming content, news content. Josh likes to unbox toys and action figures and all kinds of stuff. Don't forget the 31 Frights for 31 Nights Watch at Home Horror Movie Marathon is still going on, and we're already about halfway done with that. It is the 15th.
Some of the gems are being slept on.
I think it's so funny when I edit your videos, I laugh so hard because I watch them all. It's like 6 seconds long, and my favorite one, personally, I have two. The favorite one is the toy one. I think you need to do more meta shit.
That's the lowest watched one.
Everyone I'm so mad.
That is a fucking action figure of me. Do you know how much effort I put into that? That's not an action figure that looks like me. That is motherfucking me as a toy. And everyone saw that and went, nah, fuck that.
And then the one that you just put out was the one of you being on the found footage thing. That was
fighting the found footage video myself, warning myself in the past. And I go, fuck this. I'm not listening to that. Just wait till you see the ones I just sent you, man. I had no idea what to do.
Super stoked to see what the next 16 days have in store for us here as we get closer to Halloween. And then we got Bryce is going to have a video about the Quest 3 coming out. I was going to drop it today, but we're going to drop it tomorrow. He's going to go all over the specifications. It is already out, but I'm looking forward to hearing what he's got to say about the Quest 3. I don't think any of us are able to buy one right now because it's fucking expensive.
No. Yeah.
Yo, Meta, do you want to send us all a Quest 3 so we can fucking do some shit?
Please.
That'd be great.
It's my 40th birthday. Somebody buy me a Quest 3.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I turn 40 next year too. Can I get that for my 40th birthday?
Right. We'll start a GoFundMe right now on Facebook.
Yeah, right.
2 months.
But Bryce Bryce got this new video. He's gonna talk about the Quest 3. So looking forward to that as well. Yeah. I think him and I both own a Quest 2.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't really use my Quest a whole lot. It just kind of sits there. I need to play it more. I'm like all over the place when it comes to games.
I don't actually own mine. Like it's my kids, you know what I mean? So
I feel that. Yeah.
And they come over, a few nights a week, but then they go back to
right
mom.
on.
So I don't really.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
If they don't bring it over, I don't get to.
You don't get to play it. I got you.
Yeah.
You're like telling your kids, bring the Quest.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to finish Resident Evil 4, dang it. Like,
come on now. Dude, yeah, no, that was very fun. I'm not a fan of Resident Evil 4, but on the Quest, just getting headshots for days.
So fun.
No big.
I recommend the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners game.
Yeah. I
I
want to
think
try
that's
that
the
one out.
better zombie game.
I just
Virtual.
bought a paranormal activity game. I haven't tried that
Oh,
out
I
yet,
heard that
but
was really good.
yeah.
it
Yeah,
looked like it was pretty scary
it looks
and
kind of
fun.
freaky.
So I'm
Yeah.
gonna try that out. And,
Hell
But
yeah.
but yeah, we do all sorts of reviews of games, and we all talk about the gaming industry. We have this podcast here called The Next Level, and then also Josh and Bryce stream on Twitch, and I think I'm gonna be streaming on there a little bit more often now as well. So you look forward to seeing me on there. But I'll also do some streams on YouTube. I'm not gonna abandon YouTube like that. So we'll do that.
Yeah.
And then, but catch these guys every week. They're always playing something. You never know what they're going to get into next. It's always a lot of fun to watch them. We even have channel points where if you want to make it really hard for them to play the game they're playing, you can do that too. It's always fun. I like to do that too once in a while. When I go in there and watch the stream, they forget that like
What
that's
was
the
it?
thing.
Oh, the dang!
And so
Yeah, you
now,
made me
like-
And
play
then all of
with
a
my
sudden it'll
controller
pop up. It's
upside
like
down.
you can't attack anybody for 9 minutes. Like motherfucker, I'm Leatherface.
I had to play with my controller upside down. What game was I playing?
You were playing Outlast 2, and I was like, play it.
Oh,
you have
yeah.
to play it upside down. But I think my favorite short that you guys have made is the one that Bryce made about playing what was it playing? What's it called? Starfield on your PS5.
Starfield.
I was editing that and I was like, he's like, I got this really cool thing that you can do. I was like, yeah, okay. Don't forget,
That was
we're
fun.
also on TikTok. You can go to tiktok.com/domain GPCE. I do put all of our shorts on YouTube on there as well, but there's also some exclusive content in short form on there as well that you can't find on YouTube. So go follow us there as well. Other than that, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight on The Next Level. If you were here hanging out with us, and if you're listening after it's been released, the audio only version, appreciate you. And if you're watching the video version after it's done here, we appreciate you as well. And until next time, we will see you guys. Have a good night.